Hi, everyone. I'm Chris Harbin, and I'm pleased to be talking with you today about the LCAT, the Leadership Competency Assessment Tool. This is something that's been a long time in the making, and I want to talk to you a little bit about the benefits of it today. But first, why did we do this? Why did we create this tool? There's a lot of tools out there. There sure are. In fact, some of the most popular tools when it comes to leadership development has always been Myers-Briggs, the MBTI, Myers-Briggs type indicator, and DISC, the DISC tool. I've used these myself. I'm an ENTJ in Myers-Briggs and a DI with DISC. And they're wonderful tools. They give a lot of insight into your personality. The reality of it is, and my experience of with these tools is that companies that use them, they don't get the full benefit of them. Because what I've seen more often than not is a company will pay to put its people through MBTI and get their type indicators, or go through DISC and get their indicators. And then it never really does anything with it. They never follow up with it. There isn't any active coaching involved. There isn't any development of the processes or the organization around the knowledge that was gained from doing MBTI and DISC. And that's been the biggest concern that I've had, is because there's a large investment made in these tools and companies aren't getting a return on that investment because they're really not following through with it. Those tools don't necessarily create immediately actionable training items on their own. It really requires you to have someone that's trained in it, that has an ongoing relationship with the company, to be able to build on those things. And unless you're investing in that, having just those MBTI or DISC indicators isn't as valuable. The closest I've seen is a company went through DISC, and for everyone who did the DISC, they had new nameplates made for their desks, and they put the DI, mine would have DI at the end of my name, so that people walk in the office and say, oh, you're a DI, and supposed to think, oh, well, I have to deal with a DI this way. The problem was there was no training about how to deal with different types of people. So this is really why we developed LCAT. We wanted something that would be something standalone, that would create actionable plans, something that you can do right away, something that wasn't going to have a huge investment involved. It could complement existing training. It could enhance the ability of managers to manage their people. And really, it can provide impact right away. We developed this about 15 years ago, and it was very, very different back then. The competencies we measured were 26 competencies, and they were really geared towards something specific within the corporate world. Things like, how well did you convert a prospect to a customer? What we realized, and as I continued to do research, those weren't really leadership competencies. Being able to make a strategic plan doesn't make you a good leader. Now, of course, I'm a strategy guy, so I believe leadership and strategy are intertwined. But to be able to do the steps in the strategic planning process doesn't necessarily make you a good leader. Doesn't mean that people are going to recognize you as being a good leader. Being able to read a balance sheet and interpret the results of sales numbers doesn't make you a good leader. What we know is the thing that over and over and over again gets reported about people who are good leaders is their human relations skills, how they work with people. 15, 20 years ago, that was considered, tree hugging, rainbow stuff that no one really cared about, soft skills. Now we know that those soft skills have a hardcore result on business effectiveness. So now the LCAT has been completely revamped over the last 10 years to where it now measures 20 different human relations competencies. Things like empathy, consistency, communication, humility. All of these things are measured in this LCAT assessment tool. Now, a couple of things make this different. First, the types of type of competencies that are being measured by this assessment are being measured on a scale of 1 to 5 for performance, so you can get a really quick guide in terms of where people think you're doing. It doesn't just measure the performance, though. What it also does is it looks at how important those competencies are to the person's particular role. Because it might not matter as much given their role that you have to have empathy. That might never come into play. So the assessment then will take that into consideration and look at how well did they perform in that competency and how important is that competency. And then the result would be guidance as to, hey, here's where you should be putting your training efforts. All right, so Chris, why wouldn't I just want to improve on all the competencies that I'm not a 5 on? Well, if you had unlimited resources, unlimited time, that would be wonderful. I would encourage you to do that. The reality of it is, none of us have unlimited resources, unlimited time, so we have to be very picky about where we put our effort. And my view is we want to put our effort into the things that are going to have the best impact on us right now. That's what the LCAT does. It'll give you how you perform in these different competencies and measure it related to how important it is in that role. And it'll tell you, these are the areas in your given role, these are the areas you should be focusing on. How do we do this? You'll assess yourself, and then you'll have at least 5 other people assess you. I usually recommend 2 at your level, 2 below you, and 1 above you. It's a 360 Leadership Competency Assessment Tool. A report is produced that's easy to read, but I don't just want to leave you with a report and download it and say, here's what you get. Another thing that sets us apart is every person that is assessed gets a 30-minute consultation with me or one of my team. And that consultation helps you understand what the report says, gives you some guidance as far as effective next steps, and the feedback has been fantastic. And that's all included in the price. So I'd highly encourage you to look around the website, look at the example, contact me if you have questions about the LCAT. This is something that I know will just provide huge return on investment right away for not a huge investment. Have a good rest of your day and let me know how I can help.